Dust Creek, New Mexico Territory. Late summer, 1887. The wind carried grit across the open plains, rattling the sun-bleached boards of a lonely platform. Dust Creek wasn't much of a town, just a general store, a saloon, and a rail line that forgot it as often as it remembered. When the locomotive hissed to a stop, a young woman stepped down. Her boots were polished, her dress far too fine for this land, and in her hands she clutched a small brown suitcase. Amanda Whitmore squinted against the sun, scanning the platform. No one was waiting. The letter she carried promised a man named Walter would meet her in Creekstone, but the handwriting was smudged, the map torn, and the name half erased. Now she wondered if she had stepped into the wrong life entirely. Amanda moved to the platform's edge, heart sinking. Locals went about their business, no one paying her any mind. And then, tiny footsteps. A gasp. Two small arms wrapped around her waist. "Mama!" A little girl cried, tears streaking her cheeks. "Papa, God finally answered us." Amanda froze. She looked down into the face of a child no more than 6 years old, curls wild as prairie grass. Before Amanda could speak, a man's voice rang out. "Olivia!" A tall figure strode toward them, dusty boots, broad shoulders, a jaw carved by sun and hardship. He slowed when his eyes met Amanda's, and in a quieter tone said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, my little girl. She gets confused sometimes." The child clung tighter, whispering, "She looks like Mama." Amanda's voice trembled. "I'm Amanda Whitmore. I think I got off at the wrong station." The man tipped his hat slightly. "Randy Cooper. This here's Olivia." "Creekstone, you said?" "There ain't no Creekstone around these parts. Closest thing is Dust Creek. And that's where you are." Amanda's heart sank. The train behind her gave a final hiss, then rolled away into the desert night. She was stranded. Randy shifted uncomfortably. "Trains don't come through often. You might be stuck here till morning. I've got a wagon half a mile out. You're welcome to stay the night. It ain't much, but it's dry. And my daughter won't stop asking about you otherwise." Amanda hesitated, but the prairie wind was turning cold, and the sky held no promise of shelter. She glanced at Olivia's hopeful eyes, then nodded softly. "Thank you. That would be very kind." The child slipped her hand into Amanda's, smiling through her tears. And as the three of them walked away from the empty platform, the stranger realized she had stepped off at the wrong station and into the right story. The Cooper Ranch lay quiet beneath the stars. A simple cabin of rough-hewn logs, its windows glowing faintly from the fire within. Amanda stepped inside, brushing dust from her skirts, her eyes scanning the sparse but warm room, stone hearth, worn chairs, shelves lined with jars and tools that spoke of a hard but steady life. Olivia tugged at her hand. "You can sleep in Mama's bed," she whispered, then paused, realizing the mistake. Randy's jaw tightened, though his voice stayed gentle. "Olivia, our guest can take the spare room." That night, Amanda lay awake listening to the coyotes sing in the distance, the prairie wind seeping through the cracks in the walls. She thought of her torn letter, of Creekstone if it even existed, and wondered if Providence had placed her here for some reason she didn't yet understand. By morning, Dust Creek's sun painted the land in gold. Olivia dragged Amanda outside to see the horses. The girls' laughter rang across the corral as Amanda helped brush the mare's coat. It had been years since Amanda had felt that kind of innocent joy. But Randy watched from the fence line, wary. His life was measured, practical, rooted in the soil. He could not afford dreams, especially ones brought in by a stranded stranger. Still, day by day, Amanda found herself woven into their world. She mended Olivia's torn dresses, baked bread in the old iron stove, and even learned to draw water from the stubborn well. The child's eyes lit up whenever Amanda was near. Yet under the warmth, tension brewed. Randy's heart bore scars too deep for words. And though Amanda saw kindness in him, there was a wall he kept standing tall. One evening, as the sky burned crimson, a carriage arrived at the ranch. From it stepped a woman in fine traveling clothes, her smile sharp, her eyes colder than polished steel. "Well," she said, glancing at Amanda, "I didn't expect to find company." Amanda felt the air shift. Randy stiffened. Olivia clung to Amanda's dress. The newcomer was Eleanor Whitfield, a widow from town with her own designs on Randy Cooper and his land. Her voice dripped with mock sweetness. It must be difficult, Amanda, being so lost out here. Perhaps she'd be better off catching the next train. Before Dust Creek swallows you whole. Amanda's cheeks burned, but before she could answer, Randy cleared his throat. Eleanor, this isn't the time. The woman arched a brow. Oh, Randy? It's always the time when a stranger plays house where she doesn't belong. That night, Amanda packed her suitcase. Her pride would not let her stay where she wasn't wanted. Olivia begged her not to leave, but Amanda whispered softly, "Sometimes, little one, we can't choose where we belong. The train comes tomorrow. I'll be on it." The girl's tears soaked Amanda's sleeve, and Randy stood silent at the door, shadows hiding the war in his eyes. Amanda's heart was heavy, but her mind was made. By sunrise, she would be gone. Dawn broke soft and gray. Amanda's suitcase rested by the door, her heart restless as the whistle of the approaching train echoed faintly across the plains. But before she could step away, Olivia's small cry pierced the cabin. The child lay flushed with fever, her body trembling. Amanda dropped to her side without a thought, cool cloth in hand, whispering comfort as if she'd been born to it. Randy knelt beside them, his face etched with fear. For hours Amanda tended the girl, coaxing her to drink, humming gentle lullabies. By nightfall, Olivia's fever broke. The little one clutched Amanda's hand, whispering through cracked lips, "Don't leave me, Mama." Amanda's throat tightened. She wasn't that child's mother, but in that moment, she felt the truth stir deep within her. Perhaps she was meant to be. When the danger passed, Randy walked Amanda outside beneath the stars. For the first time, the garden man let his walls fall. "Amanda," he said low, his voice rough with honesty, "I told myself I couldn't risk needing anyone again. I buried my heart with Olivia's mother. But tonight, I saw the truth. My little girl needs you. And Lord help me, I do too." Amanda's eyes brimmed. "I thought Dust Creek was a mistake, that I'd stepped into the wrong life. But maybe it's where I was always meant to arrive." The next day, when the train whistled into town, Amanda did not climb aboard. Instead, she stood beneath the sprawling oak tree by the Cooper Ranch, where neighbors gathered and wildflowers crowned the altar. Olivia skipped with joy, scattering petals at Amanda's feet. Randy took her hands in his, rough palms cradling soft fingers. His vows were simple, but steady, like the land itself. "I can't promise riches," he said, "but I'll give you my work, my name, and my heart, all of it, for as long as the Lord lets me breathe." Amanda smiled through her tears. "And I'll give you mine." When the minister spoke the final words, the wind rustled through the fields, carrying a blessing older than any written prayer. Amanda Whitmore had stepped off at the wrong station, but in Dust Creek, she had found the right story.